Hello students, greetings of the day. I hope you are doing good and doing well with your preparation. The purpose of this video is to help you with guest questions that the Masterminds has prepared for cost and management accounting for students who are appearing for CA Inter Jan 2025 examination. Now in this video, rather than focusing on the questions or problem numbers, we are going to focus on the models that you shall prepare so that you can confidently answer the question paper. So without wasting any further time, let me go through each chapter one by one. So first chapter is your introduction to cost and management accounting. Now it's a theoretical chapter and there are some models or topics that you shall prepare. You should be thorough with it so that you can answer questions easily. Okay, so first one is cost object, cost unit, cost control and cost reduction, objectives of cost accounting. Okay, next, objectives of cost accounting, features of cost accounting's good cost accounting system, responsibility centers and impact of IT in cost accounting. So we are expecting at least a theory question from these models. Okay, that's the purpose of guest questions, right? So we are guessing based on past experiences with the question papers. We have prepared some models that you shall be thorough with. So basically this will help you out in your preparation. Okay, right. Next chapter is cost sheet. So when it comes to cost sheet, we don't have any multiple models, just focus on two kinds of problems. Okay, one where you have different items that are to be classified into different overheads and you need to prepare cost sheet. Okay, and then also focus on problems which are based on variable classification, variability wise classification. Okay, generally when it comes to cost sheet, it's all about function wise classification, but there may be one or two problems where you need to use variability wise classification also. Okay, so these are the two types of problems you should focus on. The next chapter is material cost chapter. There specific topics, my dear, or models, EOQ, stock levels with safety stock, and rather than saying with, I will say without safety stock, without safety stock. Okay, rather than with, you better focus on without safety stock. Next, raw material valuation, inventory turnover ratio, ABC analysis. The first three are very, very important. The first three, EOQ, stock levels without safety stock, and raw material valuation are very, very important. Next, employee cost and direct expense. I have clubbed these two chapters into one. So there you need to focus on problems with standard plan, that is our Halsey plan and Rowan plan. Next, labor turnover rate and its effects. Okay, so in what way labor turnover rate? So you focus on calculation of different methods of labor turnover rate. Not only that, you focus also on the effects it has, treatment of overtime premium, and of course you have one or two problems on direct expenses. So please look into that also so that it is helpful for you if it is given in MCQ format. Okay, next chapter is overheads chapter. When it comes to overheads chapter, the first thing that you need to focus is on under absorption or over absorption of overhead. Okay, next, machine hour rate, comprehensive machine hour rate. And when it comes to apportionment and reapportionment of overheads, you focus on step ladder method. And when it comes to reciprocal method, you focus on simultaneous equation method, because again when it comes to reciprocal method, you have three methods, right? So in that you focus on simultaneous equation method. And last but not least is your two-tier rate, or dual rate or two-tier rate. Okay, now the next chapter is standard costing. When it comes to standard costing, my suggestion is that you prepare a comprehensive problem where it covers all the variances, and that kind of problem is there in our masterminds material and we have mentioned in our document of guest questions. Okay, so if you don't have that, then you do one thing, you go through material variances, labor variances with idle time, and overhead variance. That means fixed and variable together. Generally what we have seen in examination is that most of the time he is either focusing on overhead variances or he is giving a problem where it covers all the variances, that is material, labor and overhead variances. That is your standard costing. Now when it comes to marginal costing, no matter how many questions you prepare, still you will get a new question. Okay, but does not mean that we will ignore it. Okay, still we have to prepare, right, so that we are some sort of ready for the examination. So what we need to do, always remember one thing when it comes to marginal costing, please be thorough with basics. I'm not saying that you have to prepare only basics. Please be thorough with basics and then move on to the remaining models in the chapter, because without basics you can't understand the remaining models. So basic problems on PV ratio, break-even point and margin of safety. Okay, indifference point, limiting factor is the most important one because it's all about decision making, right, and shutdown point. So these are the areas that are to be covered in marginal costing. When it comes to activity-based costing, yes, I have mentioned here the CRD numbers which are relevant to our masterminds material. Okay, if you're following 51 edition or 52 edition, the numbers will remain the same. Okay, But when it comes to ABC costing, there is no such classification as models because all models are one and the same. Okay, so that's what I have written here. All problems are of similar nature and important. You can't take any one question as choice here. Okay, if there are 10 questions in your material, 12 questions in the material, it's better to be thorough with all the 12 questions. Okay, and I have written which questions you need to focus on, especially CRD problems 2, 4, 7, 5 and 11. Okay, students who are not thorough with masterminds material, don't have masterminds material, please go through each and every question that is given in ICAI sources, that not only study material but also MTPs, previous papers, all those things. Okay. Now when it comes to process costing, what I do is that I generally divide process costing into 3 different parts. Okay, process costing, that is basic problems without opening and closing stock of work in progress. Next model, process account with closing stock of work in progress, and last model, process account with opening and closing stock of work in progress. Okay, now basic problems you can do easily. So what I'm saying is that I'm asking you people to focus on process account with opening stock of work in progress and process account under FIFO and average method. See, let me make a correction here. It's not your opening stock of work in progress. It shall be closing stock of work in progress. Am I clear, my dear? So closing stock of work in progress. When we say FIFO method and average method, it covers opening stock of work in progress, right? So this is the classification. So basically what I'm saying is that you focus on problems with equivalent units. Problems with equivalent units. Okay. Again, in that we have classification. In some problems we have only closing stock of work in progress. In some problems we have both opening and closing stock of work in progress. When you have both opening and closing stock of work in progress, we will use either FIFO method or average method depending on the information given in the question. Next chapter, my dear. Okay, it's unit and batch costing. So basically these are 2 different chapters. So what I have done is that I have clubbed it into a single chapter. Okay, so it is 10 and 11. Okay, so when it comes to unit costing, it's a basic chapter. Okay, almost similar to the job costing, Nana. So when it comes to batch costing, focus on EBQ, economic batch quantity. Okay, now service costing. What are the different models? See, in service costing, each problem is from a different model, right? So what I have done is that I have chosen some few models which are important from examination point of view. Hospital costing, where you have equivalent units. Costing of toll roads, there also you have equivalent units. Hotel costing is also equivalent, same on all the 3 models. For hospital, costing of toll roads, hotel costing. In all these 3 models you have equivalent units. Last but not least is passenger and good transportation costing. Okay, when it comes to passenger costing, it's quite easy. When it comes to goods transportation costing, you have 2 methods, right, for calculation of ton kilometers, commercial ton kilometers and absolute ton kilometers, right? So those are the 2 things that you need to focus on. 13th one is joint and byproducts. When it comes to joint and byproducts, you have problems. So basically we have 4 models: NRV, net realizable value. Focus on that first. Then market value at separation point, or sale value at split off point. Both are one and the same. Contribution physical unit method. So you have 3 problems where all these 4 models are covered. You are thorough with that one, you can easily answer. Okay, and do remember one thing: when it comes to joint and byproducts, rather than giving it as a separate problem, they are mixing it with some other thing. They may be mix it with process costing also. Okay, because joint and byproducts is an extension of process costing. Okay, and do remember one thing: in cost accounting paper, what we have seen is that at least there will be couple of problems which are framed in comprehensive style, especially in MCQ. Of course, 15 MCQs are to be asked, right? So what they're doing is that they are framing 2 comprehensive questions, and in these 2 comprehensive questions, they are clubbing up 2 or 3 different models in a single chapter, or 2 models from 2 different chapters. Okay, but if you're thoroughly going through the question, you can easily understand which para is related to which MCQ. It becomes quite easy. So here, question paper reading plays a very important role. When it comes to budget and budgetary control, flexible budget, first prepare that one because it's quite easy. Then when it comes to functional budget, go through all the functional budgets. Nana. There is one problem where we have covered all the functions, right? Raw material purchase, raw material consumed, production budget, wage budget. Okay, so if you go to that problem, you can easily understand. And sales budget also. Okay, right. Next chapter is your cost accounting system. When it comes to cost accounting system, focus on reconciliation, problems on reconciliation. Yes, the entire chapter is divided into 3 parts: non-integrated system, non-integrated integral system or integrated system, integral system or integrated system, and reconciliation. Start with reconciliation part, then non-integral accounting, because integrated accounting is quite simple. You can easily go through that one. Okay. Reconciliation part is the most important part here. If you want to test you in the examination, he will go for a reconciliation part, or he may give you some entries and ask you to pass some journal entries for that. Okay. So in such a case, focus on non-integral accounting system. Last chapter is your job costing. In this, you have a couple of problems. Focus on a problem where we are preparing a job costing by absorbing overheads. Okay? Because up to prime cost, you will not have any issue. Okay, it's all about how you are going to absorb overheads in job cost sheet. Okay, we have a couple of problems there, especially problem number 2, if I'm not wrong. Okay, where we have clearly mentioned that if nothing is mentioned in the problem, on what basis factory overhead is to be absorbed, on what basis admin overhead is to be absorbed, on what basis selling and distribution overhead is to be absorbed. A detailed flowchart has been given in the start of the chapter. Okay, so basing on that knowledge only, we have framed a problem. So that is about job costing. So these are the chapters, and these are some important areas from which we are expecting questions, majority of the question paper in the examination. Okay, so if you have already prepared this one, then well and good. If not, at least it's a high time that you go through the content that you have ignored. Okay, now last but not least, please trust and focus on material. If you're preparing material, stick on to it. It is more than sufficient. It is more than sufficient. If you are thorough with material, thorough means you have gone through every point in the material, then you can confidently answer 90% of the question paper with ease. Remember one thing, you are writing a professional examination. So if you're able to answer 90% of the question paper with perfection, with ease, that means you have done excellent in that question paper. Okay. And don't feel tensed about examination. You have gone through a rigorous schedule of masterminds. To have faith in the schedule that you have been through. Okay, you have written n number of examinations. So the purpose of releasing this guest questions is just to help you out. Okay, so to boost some sort of confidence too. Okay. So all the best for your examinations. Thank you.